Hey guys, welcome to another commentary done by Diggity. Upper right hand corner, we have Diggity Sjow starting as the Red Terran, a fantastic European player. I love watching him play because he just has really solid, very intelligent builds. This is going to be on Shakuras Plateau, by the way. Upper left hand corner, we have COVNAA, who is actually StarTale Ace. This is, I believe, the CEVO North American account is what the NAA stands for. So to reduce ping, to have them on the same server set, basically. Anyway. If you want to find more information about the GeForce Starcraft 2 Pro-Am tournament, which this replay is from, and I plan on doing more replays from this tournament in between League of Legends replays if I can get them working. Hope you guys are enjoying those, by the way. Go to geforce.cevo.com. I think Day9 Husky doing a lot of the commentary for the matches. Awesome, guys. Go check it out. How can you not love those two? Anyway. Barcraft, special thanks to everybody who came out to San Diego's edition of Barcraft. It was an absolute blast. And everybody that got Barcraft going internationally and in North America, you guys are really advancing esports. And I want to iterate, keep that up, guys. If you want to get involved, go to reddit.r/Barcraft. See how you can get involved. Keep that sort of thing going. The more you can group up with friends, the more fun you can have watching StarCraft in groups in public. I think it's going to be more successful for esports in general. Anyhow, on that note, Mike and Steve, really, I want to give them a lot of credit. I think while I was at the bar, I think Mike intentionally was like, Diggity was doing all that, but really it was Mike who put in a lot of the labor. Steve also showed up early and brought his laptop and helped with some of the setup beforehand. I really only showed up to make sure that the equipment's working, met with the manager very briefly. So, but Mike deserves, this is actually one of the few events that I've been a part of that has been a StarCraft 2 party related where I didn't actually put in the bulk of the labor. And in the past, by the way, thanks to Steve and Eddie for those. But I want to give credit where credit's due, because every time it seemed like I was trying to direct credit over to Mike, they were like, Diggity, so awesome! Ah! I was like, no, Mike did most of the work here. I only did a little bit. Anyway, so Mike, thank you. And there will be a GSL Finals party, by the way, at Joe's Pizza. And thank you again for everybody that showed up. So, Diggity Sjow showing no gas opening, it looks like. Orbital Command Center, no assemblers, no refineries just yet. There is a Marine being produced at the Ford Barracks. So, well, it looks like it's going to be one barracks into expansion. Looks like that probe is coming out. And honestly, the overall metagame is definitely favoring Terran over Protoss. So I'm kind of curious how we're going to see StarTale Ace adjust. Mostly the 1-1-1 or adjustments on it. Going very Marine heavy with Banshees to support, well, heavy Banshees to support, and siege tanks underneath. And you can, if you can get that Comsat or Raven or any sort of detection out, kill the observer, have cloaked Banshees out. It's an extremely powerful attack. I'm not sure that that's what we're going to see currently. The problem I had with this build in the past is specifically you end up with so many Marines to start, and that gives you kind of a fragile defense and fragile mid game, honestly. Excuse me. Whew, burp commentary, very rare. So essentially what you end up with is a gluttony of, 12, 13, a lot of Marines basically when you're going to see that first engagement. And as a result, you kind of have softer units against the Protoss composition, because when you think about it, what are Marines really solid against? Mortals. That's just about it. And maybe observers if you're talking about their role in the 1-1. Mostly they're padding for the rest of the units so those Banshees can just fly around and cloak and be as annoying as heck. Anyway, and also I feel like this style of build kind of puts things more in Protoss's corner where they can make the decisions about the build. So Nexus chrono boosting out some probes. Actually has a little bit of spare right there. He does have cybernetics core. It doesn't look like he's chrono boosting that warp gate research, instead opting for an earlier economy. And just sitting with that sentry at the natural expansion, he's got full vision, and in the meantime Sjow, looking at his vision, come on, there we go, it's been having trouble. Yeah, you can see he's got absolutely no idea what StarTale Ace is up to. But he has his natural expansion, he has an economic lead as a result. He's also going to have 2 orbital commands to drop mules all over those mineral piles. Let's see if he's able to sneak in. This is actually going to be huge. It's 2 sentries on the front. Oh, if he spread it out a little bit more, there's no way this SCV could get in. But since they're stacked, and also that Stalker sitting, not doing its job on the corner, this is actually very significant. Now the sentry's starting to move up and little things like that. Okay, yes, he kills that SCV, but that SCV got a good look at that Nexus. It's going to give plenty of information. Now he knows he doesn't need to add on a second bunker or maybe even a third bunker. Does have a factory about 3/4 finished. All 3 SCVs inside the refinery options. Doesn't look like he's taken his 3rd refinery just yet. And we do have a robotics facility now for StarTale Ace, as well as 2 additional gateways. Usually this is the very standard mid-game Protoss complement set. And we'll see how, yeah, we'll see how Sjow plays against this, and let's see what Ace is up to in the meantime. He is filling in with a lot of sentries just in case. Usually you can see that big heavy marine attack. It looks like we do actually have a lot of marines out in the field. There's that 13 count. And usually this is kind of where you see the dichotomy. Do you see the early marine push? Which no, you do not, because you have, it looks like you have that factory a little bit earlier. Instead you just had 2 barracks pumping out the marines. Instead it is going to be siege tech with siege tanks. Maybe I'm off on that count, but whatever. Siege tank, and of course a starport. So again, you're getting that full complement. And we'll see if we actually see Banshees or medevacs, so more of a throwback to the old composition, or if we are going to see the Banshee more hailing towards the new composition. In the meantime, Ace moving out. He's actually got a forward pylon, and he is warping in units. I do like this pylon location, because even if this attack, which looks like it's incoming, fails, he'll still have a good eye just in case Sjow does expand. It looks like he's going to try to do a hopscotch dealing, and ooh, Marines moving to that south, but right as an attack is going right into his main. Zealots up there, several Zealots attacking away, but SCV's pulling off the line. Nice force fields to block the repair. Looks like the bunker is going to finish, but I think Sjow has too much up there, and SCVs can linebacker very, very well. Yes, it looks like this attack is indeed going to be crushed. And still plenty of Marines actually out in the field. Wow, Sjow actually lost very little. I think he lost a handful. Yeah, he lost a handful of harvesters, and that is going to give Ace a little bit of an economic lead. But in the meantime, I gotta say, StarTale lost a lot of Zealots, and he doesn't have a very large standing army. He's only got 5 sentries and a single stalker to deal with what is a large amount of Marines and 2 siege tanks, which opens up a lot of pressure opportunity for Sjow if he wants to take it. It looks like he does have a Banshee about halfway finished. He's not upgrading Cloak, however. And he is adding on a tech lab on that 3rd barracks. And let's see if he goes for stim packs and starts supplementing in some marauders, but it's very likely that he could just go stim pack. With the huge amount of Marines he has and the very little damage he's taken, he can just go and press into StarTale Ace, who again is mostly forced to shell up. And I don't like this. He's actually shelling up on the high ground. This is going to give Sjow an opportunity to maybe press this, and it looks like he's actually moving out now. Yeah, even then, even with the small unit composition, he might have wanted to engage on this middle ground just in case some bunkers were being filtered through, because honestly, yes, Marines not as strong against Marauders versus Protoss, but when you're inside of a bunker, it doesn't make a difference. That's bonus health. You don't need those medevacs to support. Banshee floating out. Looks like there's a 2nd Banshee out in the field. Honestly, I was surprised by the Banshee craze, just because I saw LZ Gamer do a lot of that Banshee action in the beta. Mostly, I think what I think might have happened there is he started off with Reaper and since, oh yeah, and here it is. Never mind, I won't interrupt with this. Siege tanks sieging up on the low ground. No Blink Stalkers, not even a Colossi to cope with this. Looks like a Colossi just going to finish. Looks like level 1 weapons about halfway finished. And Ace getting pounded at his natural expansion. Sjow finding the perfect timing for this. Needs to save that Banshee, however. 22 health. Looks like it is going to back out, but all this distraction, 3 bunkers up, plenty of Marines to filter in there, and again, that's like an instantaneous medevac. All of a sudden, you have infinite health on all of those Marines. The siege tanks also just creeping their way forward, and that Banshee providing that high ground spotting. It easily can just pound out this natural expansion. All of a sudden, Sjow in a fantastic position. I love the positioning. I love the map awareness. I love the map control and the abuse of it. And oof, I'm not sure that Ace is going to be able to get out of this. Okay, 2 Banshees now on the front door. Looks like they were fully repaired. There are a couple SCVs down on the low ground to do some repair, not only on the bunkers, but also these Banshees, so they can just continue to pound away at this front door. Getting a little bit too greedy. There's the Guardian Shield up, encroaching. This is not a good engagement, however. Running up, trying to take out what he can. The siege tank just pounding away at absolutely everything, and that Colossi, very vulnerable, getting focused down very, very rapidly. Still 1 standing, but there's no standing army left around him. I'm not sure how that Colossi even got out. And ooh, nice. Stalker hiding underneath that Colossi is able to take out a Banshee. Still 3 siege tanks on the low ground. All of the bunkers remaining. Looks like the SCV still staying. That's really what counts. And it looks like one Marine face down, going to be turned into ash as a result. But this is not looking good for Ace. It looks like Sjow has, in fact, a death grip on this natural expansion. Additional Colossi. Looks like Thermal Lance also being upgraded. Thermal Lance can change things, but keep in mind, 4 bunkers on the low ground, 4 siege tanks. And still, I think, an overall unit composition lead. Yeah, 5 siege tanks, a single Banshee. He's got to wait on that Banshee. It looks like I like sneaking the SCV while the Banshees were gone in the meantime. There's the additional Banshee. Gonna wander up and just start pounding away, killing him. I guess that's the word of this commentary. Now we have concussive shells, combat shields, some marauders going to join in this composition. Once they have a concussive shell, I think that, well, I think it's already game, but once that concussive shell upgrade is there as well, I can't see Ace getting back in this match. He's losing Stalkers even there. Well, maybe 121 health left. That's one brave stalker. You'd think he would want to retire here. He's like, nope, taking retirement. Gonna go get out of here. But no, he's right there on the front lines. He cares about his team. He cares about Team Blue. Banshee, again, is trying to poke, lead these stalkers forward. It's so hard to control as a Protoss player. And oof, yeah, this Nexus is most certainly going to get annihilated. SCV's just wandering up. And somehow he got a bunker with Marauders up in here. And a little bit of group repair, which cost him all of his SCVs, so a little bit of sloppy there. Not going to make much of a difference. Somehow some Zealots. Looks like they're warping into the low ground. They're running around. This is kind of an interesting attack, however. If StarTale can actually do kind of a combo thing and run the Zealots in from behind to distract the Siege Tanks and then move the Colossi in. Yeah, here it comes. Maybe he can get this accomplished. But no, it looks like a lot of them annihilated. 4 now coming up from the south, and that Siege Tank doesn't even get taken out. And it looks like, yeah, okay, yes, there's 3 Colossi in here, but that's just about it. And they're still high ground spotting with the bunker and whatnot, and Sjow is just continuing to pound his way forward. I got to give it to Ace, though, defending where he can, but his natural expansion is all but finished. And once this natural expansion's down, he might even back up. He might just evacuate all these troops, back up, group up, siege at a less vulnerable, well, I guess this isn't really a vulnerable location, but maybe, well, actually, I guess I take that entire statement back, because how safer can you get? How less exposed, aside from being right next to a ton of bunkers and a bunch of siege tanks. High ground spotting is really what he needs. It looks like still a Marauder is going to be flooding out, and that could be the difference. This is interesting from Ace. A nice desperation turnaround attempt, getting a Warp Prism and Gravimetric drive, or Gravitic drive to try to go for some sort of backdoor action. In the meantime, attacks up on the front. The bunkers had mostly been empty, though, and it looks like they had been stepped back. That's still 4 Colossi out in the field. But Sjow is near 150 supply. As long as he fills it in with powerful units, he's going to be A-okay. Yeah, now there are those Marines evacuating. Still 16 Marauders now, 10 Siege Tanks, 22 Marines. This Warp Prism is going to have to do something absolutely amazing in order for Ace to get back in this match. And so we'll keep an eye out for that. But honestly, I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, now unsieging, now pulling back. This is what I was hoping to see earlier. So I guess, yeah, taking my advice, I shouldn't doubt myself. Remember, Diggity. Confidence. Colossi sneaking up in this Warp Prism. This ought to be interesting. I'm gonna, I guess, drop. Unfortunately, even if he gets to this upper right-hand corner, there's not a lot of SCVs or anything to really work with. He is going to try to sneak that 12 o'clock location in the meantime, but wow, Sjow just running right underneath it. And this is the thing, is even if he drops off this Colossi, that turret can still hit him, and that's just going to attract the attention of some Vikings, and it looks like, well, never mind, now he's able to get in position to do some damage, but Sjow does not care. At 177 supply, StarTale Ace's natural expansion's just now being finished. He's only got 3 Colossi. Well, that's a lot of Colossi on the front, but nevertheless, this is a huge amount of siege tanks, a big, gigantic army that's just careening in. So I don't see this getting, unless Sjow completely drops his keyboard and forgets how to A-move, I don't see this going any way but in his favor. They're dropping Colossi after the high ground, but it looks like there's enough spine there with the Viking that is going to be brushed away. And StarTale trying to defend in where he can, almost losing that Warp Prism with that Colossi inside of it. But now the rest of the infantry charging in. Keep in mind, they do not have medevac, so those Colossi do hurt quite a bit. So those Vikings still need to provide some sort of protective covering. Immortals running up to the north, it's going to get completely peeled away, and it's just like a piecemeal attack on all corners. There's a Stimpak running forward, Sjow just crushing what is left. Nice opportunity. He might have actually left all his army with some bad Stimpaks, but there's GG from StarTale Ace. Going to move on. Game 2. Hopefully he'll get Game 2 in the near future. I know we've been very slow lately, but hope you guys enjoyed it. Nevertheless, thank you for listening.